All right, first of all, I just want to start. I know, Matt, you've caught up on it. Jared hasn't, so we won't really give away any spoiler alerts, but 1923 season 2. What a great show, first of all. And
you can spoil it. I honestly, I probably will one day get into 1923, but that's one I haven't even started yet. So go ahead.
well, it's still pretty fresh. We may not want to spoil it for some of our listeners either necessarily, but I'm okay either way. All I was going to say mainly is, like I said, a great show. And I think all three of us love romantic comedies as far as movies go, but as far as a love story goes, mixed in with all the other action that they had, Spencer and Alex, I mean, they're right there with Rose and Jack of Titanic or Tony and Maria of West Side Story. I mean, this love story, would you agree with that, Matt? It was unbelievable.
It was. It was unbelievable. The journey that both of them, that both of them go on, they connect, they separate, and then, not a spoiler, but there's a reconnection there at the end. But that was the one thing, that part of the storyline that my wife and I were both a little like, man, because I guess I don't want to say too much.
You mean the way it ended there?
Yeah, the way it ended with them was a little disappointing. There was some good because they had a kid, and that kept the Dutton family line going. But then there was some bad that went with it. That was the one part of the storyline we were a little bit like, man, we were pulling for her. But the rest of it, I mean, this show, Taylor Sheridan, man, Jared, you've talked about him a lot. I mean, he knows what he's doing because the writing is so good, and it makes you want to have another season. This was the final season of 1923. Yep. I did read that there might be a 1940.
1944,
right? There might be a 1944. That would be obviously probably where Kevin Costner's character then comes in as a child, But no, I mean, the shootouts, the action, I mean, it makes you feel like you're in the Wild West. The shootout that went on, in that final episode was just insane. And
Spencer is one of the biggest badasses I have ever seen, man. And I mean, you're a woman. You're drooling over him. He's so handsome, and then he's just a badass. I mean, it's awesome.
Here's why I hope they don't do 1944, and this is just off a title alone. Listen, 1944, I mean, we were at war. So they're going to have some badass John Dutton leading it, and you're just going to be thinking to yourself, like, this guy would be, leading the troops into Normandy. He wouldn't be freaking, worrying about his ranch. That's my one complaint. Hopefully just shift it ahead a few years, and then have him be a World War II vet. That's how you do it.
They probably already thought about that, because definitely, like Spencer in 1923, he was a war hero.
Right.
So they build this in. Harrison Ford obviously was too old to be in the war, but he was still good. So yeah, if they did do, I get what you're saying. 1944, maybe John Dutton, Kevin Costner's character, would be too young, obviously.
Right.
Maybe he would just be at the ranch with all the ladies because all the men are off fighting the war or something. But it would be interesting. They've got to do it. Because we got to know how it gets. Okay, where does John Dutton? We got to know how it gets. That's
my next question. You guys really need to know every step of the way of how this. So there's not been 3 of these, right? So they're potentially going to have a 4th story about the Dutton fam. Yep. I mean, the scenery alone, and I guess it is a different part of every different time period each trip. I can appreciate it. I guess it almost just makes you wish that they would have done it in the actual proper order, with starting with what was 1883 was the first one. You almost wish that you hadn't watched Yellowstone yet, so that you can get that payoff of what happens at the end.
In one way, I agree, but in another way, I think it's kind of neat the way they did it, because you see the Yellowstone, and then they go back to 1883, so you see how it all started. Right. I was fine with that, to tell you the truth.
It was cool, and the one thing I've said a few times on this, it did take away from a little of the drama, because that the ranch stays in the family because of Yellowstone. So it takes away a little bit of that drama, but you have to know how it gets there, who dies, who doesn't die, who keeps the ranch, all of those storylines. So no, as far as a moneymaker, they should do 1944, because everyone's going to watch it.
I'm all in. I'm 100% all in.
It'll be good. But to me, 1944 is like, so you think of 1923, 1883, it's like, it's the Wild West.
Yes.
And the U.S. still wasn't fully settled by 1944, but to me, it's like it would almost seem to follow the same plot lines as what you see in the current Yellowstone. Am I wrong? Does that make any sense?
Similar.
Because in 1923, electricity is just like a new thing. Telephones is just a new cars. So that's the big thing. So by 1944, the ranch would have electricity. I would assume it would have a car, all that kind of stuff. So it would change.
And of course, the news is going to be the war.
Right.
How they tie that in there, we'll find out. But
it'd be interesting.
It's excellent for sure.
No, Spencer, I always give my wife a hard time because they say the same thing. I know why you want to watch this. It's because of him, right? And she doesn't disagree.
I don't think many women would disagree. Heck, if I tended to go that way, I'd be all over him too. I'll tell you.
Well, I haven't seen these shows, but knowing Sheridan, I mean, how he casts these shows, I'm sure there's a lot of good-looking women as well. So it's not just Spencer that people would rally toward.
Right.
The way he walks in when the final battle, I mean, I guess the final walks in with his elephant gun and then he's got his 2 pistols. It's just like this dude. And then they even make a joke. The one kid was like, "You didn't even let me get a shot off." It's just.
Did you take any negative from it at all, Matt? I would say just one negative from the series, minor, but just a little bit too much with the bad guy played by Timothy Dalton and those the prostitute sex stuff. Yeah. That was just definitely out there. They could have toned that down just a little bit.
That was definitely out there, and I clearly they were trying to set up that this dude, because then Banner, who was kind of the bad guy that ended up kind of being a good guy. It
was too much for him.
It was too much for him. So I almost feel like that's what they were trying to set up. That, listen, this dude who's trying to. This guy who's trying to steal
pure evil.
Right. He not just he's trying to get rich, he is pure evil because of all this other stuff. A few of the scenes we were a little bit like, geez.
My wife had to leave the room. She couldn't take it. Yeah. She takes that stuff to heart. But great show.
Great show. And I mean the relationship between Harrison Ford and his wife in the show was awesome. And I mean it really, I know, Jared, you've got 700 other things to watch, but if you could ever get into it, I don't think you would be disappointed.
It's a good one for you and Liz, Jared, because it's a love story, but it's got all kinds of action too.
Yep.
I can dig it. I should. I'll be honest. Like the one thing that turned me off. Sorry if anybody isn't in the Yellowstone verse. One thing that turned me off was I do like Kevin Costner, but for him to be playing this grade A badass, like it just whereas the Spencer guy seems like he really is that grade A badass.
Oh, he's legit.
I just suspended disbelief a little bit with Costner. You almost look who is it, Rip? Like he's kind of more so that character.
Yep, you're right. Yeah. And then we talked about it, I think, off camera, but Last of Us season 2 debuted last night. I watched it today after I rewatched the season 1 finale. And there's been some controversy, I guess, on the fact that the game players are taking some issue with some of the things in the show. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's in part, Jared, you've mentioned it. We've all mentioned it. Nowadays, people are going to hate on everything, whether it's a halftime show at the Super Bowl or whether it's the national anthem at, the Super Bowl, wherever. People are going to hate everything. And it seems like specifically on social media or on Twitter. And that's where I've seen it. A lot of the people who seem like they played the games and are probably like gamers say that the actress choice for Ellie in the show doesn't match up with the game. And I don't know. I don't see it that way. She's a great actress.
Yeah, I really like her.
Like it's never going to be spot on, even Pedro Pascal, if you look at him compared to the character in the game, it's not like spot on. He's a great actor, so it works, So that's what I've seen. We haven't started season 2 yet. We're going to at some point. But yeah, that's some of the feedback I've seen.
People are weird, man. And it's maybe if it's so you think of what is it, Tomb Raider with Lara Croft, where in those you probably played that game, Matt. It's it's so pixelated, but they clearly tried to make her very good looking. If you want to say that, I guess in that world, if it was the same, I guess casting, I guess I somewhat would understand it. But she's an awesome actress. I think she's very good. I thought she was awesome in season 1. Yep. I haven't watched the first episode of season 2 yet, but I mean, I think she's one of the next big things. I mean, she already is a big thing, but she is one of the next big things in movies and TV. She's awesome.
Was she in Game of Thrones?
Yeah, she was. She had a great scene where she actually killed a White Walker giant. So stabbed it right in the eye. Pretty badass little scene. And then gets crushed by the giant as it falls on top of her. So,
okay.
Yeah, she's been around. She's a guy. She plays that kind of badass, hard ass, female lead pretty well. I think she does a great job in Last of Us, and it's a great show. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, they're a good combination. Just to kind of set the stage for you if you didn't see it online. I mean, it takes place 5 years after season 1 ended. So
I
it's
think
good.
I need to. You mentioned you watched the season finale of season 1. I think I need to do that. I mean, I played the game, but that was so long ago. I need to watch that season finale because I almost forget how it ended.
Well, that's the thing with these shows that they take so long on breaks. They come back 2 years after the last episode. You kind of almost forget. Yeah, they give you the recap a little bit at the beginning, but I like to get right into it and then jump right to the next show.
Yeah.
One final thing I got, it was just kind of funny to me. I like Saturday Night Live, and they built up to their 50th anniversary, and I thought they were having just a fantastic season. I think it tapered off a little bit after that, to be honest with you. I mean, they still had some moments, but this last Saturday night, they had a little spin-off on the White Lotus. It was called the White POTUS. It was pretty funny.
I thought it was
takeoff on Trump
too.
and the other politicians.
Yeah.
I saw the Amy. I always mess up her name. It's Amy Lee Wood, I think, who plays the girl that you love in White Lotus. She was upset with her portrayal.
They did buck the teeth up pretty good.
It made her a complete idiot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought it was a good skit. I didn't. Again, people get mad about everything. That's what we say. I thought it was a solid skit, so I had no problem with it.
Yeah, I saw a couple other clips from the show on Saturday. A couple pretty good skits, but the White POTUS one was really good. And speaking of that, I finished season 2, so I know you guys are through the whole thing all the way through. And season 2 at the end, I mean, this isn't a spoiler. That season's been out for forever. My wife and I were thrown for a loop that season, or the finale of season 2. Tanya is her name. What the actress's name who plays Tanya, who is like the main character? And
Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, Jennifer Coolidge.
I did not think that it seemed like they were setting it up that she was going to get away. She was going to make it out. She figured out that she kept calling them the gays. They were trying to kill her because they had a connection to Greg, her husband, and all that kind of stuff. And it just seemed like she was going to get out. And then the way she flipped off the boat, we both were like, whoa. we both reacted like, oh my God.
The best scene in that finale, man, is or maybe it's episode 7. I think it's the finale though. They have a tight up on her when she's going through just like firing in the gun throughout the boat, like just unloading like
that was the finale.
It's not like 8 people. But it's just a tight look at her face. She's like barely even knows how to hold it. But that was awesome. Again, I still think it's season 2, best season that there's been in that show. I'd put it up there. It's best seasons in television history, man. All those characters were great.
It was great.
Michael Imperioli's whole storyline in that with his son, like I just thought that was awesome. The 2 couples are great. Right. How they each kind of take a little bit from each other, and it's kind of like they're all better off for it. I'm jealous that you got to watch that for the first time. It's great.
It was great. And like you said, the 2 couples, the friend couples that I don't know everything that went on between them because they didn't really say what actually happened, but there clearly was some shenanigans going on. But like you said, it seemed like it helped each couple out in the end or whatever, and because the one friend that was, getting them into all the shenanigans, he did such a good job of making you hate him. It was like, I hate this guy. But that, he's doing a great job. So no, it was good. So yeah, we're excited to watch season 3, even though everyone was disappointed with it.
We'll get your review on it. I was okay with it. It may not have been as good as the first and second, but it was still very solid. You guys got anything else for entertainment, or are we moving on?
Man, that's the main stuff right there, right?
Yeah, we're good, man. We're hitting a pinnacle of sports entertainment. I mean, we didn't even talk draft. We'll have one more show before the NFL draft, so that'll be fun to talk about next week. I freaking love the NFL draft. It's like one of my top probably 10 sports nights of the year is watching the NFL draft, as nerdy and lame as that sounds. I really do get a kick out of it, so I'm looking forward to that next Thursday.
How can you not love it, especially when they play that little sounder before each draft pick? That's it.
I need to confirm it. There's a pretty wild story behind that. Like the person that created that sound, and obviously it's copywritten. I was going to say copywritten by ESPN now. Like they own that sound, obviously. Yeah. I've heard some crazy stories about who created that and the money, the royalties they get from that sound because it's played everywhere. And like that is, that's ESPN sound for the draft. I will say, and it's, ESPN is the main person. NFL Network does their stuff too. ESPN crushes the NFL draft. I really do. I think that's not being a company man. I think they crush it. I wish though that they'd have round 1 and 2 on day 1. they stretch out round one
Yeah.
so far, and sometimes it's like, let's just get to it. I loved it how they used to do it that way. Round 1 and 2 was on day 1, and the rest of the draft was on day 2. But I get it. Stretch it out over 3 days.
I agree, because I would watch every second of it. The one thing I kind of like is it almost feels like there's an added drama of somebody falling out of round 1 when you know they're leaving, they got to go home, sleep on it, come back, and it's half the crowd is there from the day before. Like that, I think is kind of adds to the drama a little bit of those guys that are falling later in the end of the first round and fall to the second round, especially the quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be plenty of storylines on that. We'll definitely get into that when it gets a little closer, but it's that time of year. April, baby. Time to keep moving, right?
Yeah. April in the D.
Gotta get
All right. Let's call it. Hey, Jared, keep it up, man. Keep that attitude, that epiphany going, hang out with your friends, enjoy life,
Yeah, that's the goal, man. I mean, yeah, it's I guess that's when you had a damn good vacation. I mean, we've all been there. We know that feeling when you're getting on the plane. Matt, you probably had it in Barbados. Like, man. And you have kids to look forward to coming home to, or like, obviously maybe there's some hassle with that too. Like anything, but it's just, it's like, obviously not every day can be vacation in Scottsdale in, sunny sunshine weather, but can you take a small part of that and apply it to your life? I think it's possible.
I think it is too.
And the sunshine is coming. You're mid-April up there in Michigan. The sunshine is coming.